I'm gonna be real here for a second. This game honestly probably had the worst competitive history out of every Smash game. The most common rule set was usually 2 stocks, 6 minutes, which was heavily disliked. On day 1, it had multiple broken characters, and year 1 of Smash 4 competitions had custom moves on, most of which were really broken and unfair how they were, most of the time giving powerful characters even more powerful options and bad characters even worse options. One example of an already good character being able to gain a better option is Diddy Kong's rocket barrel attack, and for a clear example of custom moves making a character worse, Jigglypuff. Just Jigglypuff. On top of that, being that this is the first game to introduce DLC, some of them were very well unbalanced, most likely for the sake of making them more appealing to buy. And the last 3 DLC characters, Bayonetta, Corrin, and Cloud, are widely considered to be extremely overpowered characters. And finally, let me finish by talking about the elephant in the room. That's right, Bayonetta. I'm going to start off by saying that the only Smash game that has ever died competitively and or non-competitively is Super Smash Bros. For Wii U 3DS. In short, let me tell you why game by game. Smash 64 is the first game in the series, and a lot of people like to go back and play it to see the origin of the series, and it still has a very live competitive community. Also, nostalgia. Melee has an adventure mode and is the reason why Smash has a competitive scene as big as it is. Brawl has Project M and Subspace Emissary to keep competitive and casual players willing to at least go back to the game, even if it is for a little while to give it a try. Ignoring the fact that Ultimate is the most recent game in the series, it also has the most characters and fan requested characters at that out of any other game previously in the series, and probably in the future of the series. The end of Smash 4's life cycle was a disaster because single tournaments were ruined by Bayonetta, who was still extremely overpowered after being heavily nerfed, and Cloud ruled doubles, whether it was a tournament allowing double or single Cloud. This is also in junction with the fact that casual players usually see this game as a pretty weak, in fact, the weakest entry within the series, being that it lacks a lot of content and replayability compared to other Smash games previously and in the future, leaving no reason to go back to it for most players.
Now, considering Smash 4 had
one true version and whatever the fuck this is,
I figured instead of talking about everything, I would talk about the specific modes within both versions. And let me tell you, they're a major downgrade from Brawl. As per tradition, there is still Classic mode, however, it's a bit different on how you traverse it. Yes, I did say traverse because you're actually on a map this time and you get to choose which direction you go in. Whichever direction you go in will determine which fighter you fight next and how many coins you get. The fights are still randomized and you still fight Master Hand and Crazy Hand. However, if you choose a higher difficulty, they'll actually dissolve into dust and then form themselves into what these things are. So you beat those things up and then destroy the Master Core. That'll just unleash the Master Fortress. This big giant FU to anyone who actually liked Subspace Emissary, aka me. Oh yeah, you heard it right, there is no story mode in this game. May I ask why? Yeah, sure, with its removal, Sakurai was able to focus on more of the fighting mechanics, but come on, the Subspace Emissary gave Brawl its personality, something Smash 4 lacks, but that's a story for another day. No, instead we got Smash Tour. Smash Run is a mode where you run around this giant maze with multiple sections, and you're tasked with beating down a whole bunch of enemies from other franchises in order to get a bunch of stat boost. And then after a few minutes, you're tasked to fight other players in a randomly chosen mini game, which can either be race to the finish or just your average everyday fight. Now, Smash Tour on Wii U, it's just Mario Party. You collect different fighters, and then you lose some if you do some bad things, and then after the whole game's over, you get to fight with those characters to see who would win the whole thing, and you get more stat boosts. Honestly, I've seen pretty much bad things said about this mode. Personally, if I wanted to play a fighting game and have the option not to choose a fighter, I just choose random. You know, the best character in any video game ever. Now, I kept bringing up stat boosts, and there's a good reason for that. In Smash 4, you can actually customize any of the fighters. This could go from expanding their speed or power. You can also change some of the attacks. For example, if you didn't want Mega Man to use Leaf Shield, then you can choose Skull Barrier or Plant Barrier. You can also make Miis with different costumes and different fighting attributes. There are also Amiibos amiibos, which is another can of worms. Essentially, it's your own custom fighter that you can bring with you everywhere physically. Other than those few things, the rest of the game extras are just there. Regular targets has been changed into Angry Birds, trophies are still back, All-Star mode, you actually fight the fighters in the year they were released in, and Stage Builder, you actually get to draw on the Wii U gamepad. I could ramble about Master Order and Crazy Order, but to be honest, yeah, I'm honestly depressed now. We went from Brawl, you know, the game with the best single-player content, to Smash 4, which has the worst soulless piece of crap. Yeah, Slander was right.
Yeah, Slander was right.